everyone, welcome back to my channel. I have been away, I've been on a little holiday. I went to Turkey and I only got back early hours of Tuesday morning, and then I went straight into night shifts, so Tuesday night, and I've got to work tonight as well. So I've been a busy little bee, but when I arrived home there were 2 samples for me to try, and I'm gonna sample those with you now. These are my very first impressions, so I have not sniffed them at all. And I also have one new fragrance to share with you, which will be more of a review because I've got to know it. But it's also a new one. It's a Teone Reinthal. So let's start with that actually. So it is In a Glow. I think I probably did a first impressions somewhere on my channel. Couldn't tell you where, I don't know. I make so many videos, I can't remember oftentimes what I've talked about and what I haven't. Teone very generously sent this over to me via a very, very kind person. So she sent a parcel over to someone. I won't mention their name because I don't know if they want me to, but they kindly sent on this to me from within the UK. So thank you to Teone for sending me this In a Glow. It's a 10ml scent pencil. I love the scent pencils. Nice sort of decent thickness to the decant, but totally handy for taking away with you if you happen to be going on travels. So I did take this to Turkey with me to get to know it a bit better, and I wore it yesterday as well. So I've worn it recently because I really wanted to get a good impression of it so I can review it for you. So what do we make of In a Glow? Well, you can see how much I've used. I think that does tell you that I definitely really do like this fragrance. It's up there as one of Teone's best, although there's so many good ones, but it really is beautiful. I would really be happy to have this in my collection. It's all the things that I love about Teone's work. So it is a floral, it's a white floral, but there's some animal element to it that's not too strong or too difficult to tolerate, I don't think. When I first smell it, I smell a mixture of white florals. I do get a little bit of Teone's jasmine, and I really do get a sort of a signature feel. I'm sure Teone probably uses different kinds of jasmine, but I always feel like I can pick it out quite well. So I get a little bit of Teone's jasmine, but it mixes in with some other white florals. I can't remember what there is now. There is iris, I know that for sure. So it's a mixture of white florals. I think if you like Papillon's Hera, it's similar in the opening. So the opening of Hera is similar to In a Glow, but Hera goes more oak mossy, patchouli. The dry down's different. That's what I'm trying to say. The dry down's different. But if you like Hera, it is white. There is white florals and there's iris. So you get that lovely mixture, that lovely powdery special magic touch that iris brings. And of course it's always going to be a natural iris because everything Teone does is natural. So there's this mixture of bright citruses. Nothing, I couldn't say, oh, I definitely get orange, lemon, bergamot. It just feels like a mixture, a lovely blend of citruses that add a freshness, but they absolutely blend with the white florals and this musky powderiness, which I think is probably the iris, as well as this African musk root, which is the animalic note that Teone has used. I don't know that I've ever smelt it before. If I did, I didn't know about it, but probably not. And my guess is a lot of people wouldn't have smelt this natural ingredient. And I really do think that it does this amazing job of grounding the fragrance and adding that contrast where it could all be very heady and maybe too happy or too bright, but it just sort of grounds the whole composition. the iris and that animalic powdery, I don't know what that's going on in here, is so good. And yeah, all I can think is that it really does ground the brightness of that citrus and that floral element. Now, when I was wearing it yesterday, I really realized how it does change on your skin, and it kind of gets this orangey feel to it. I don't know if there's orange flower. I've forgotten what the flowers are in here, but it has this just orangey glow about it. It's called Inner Glow, and it feels sort of orangey. Not that it smells like smelling a real life orange up close, but the overall feel makes me feel like it just feels like the colour I see is orange. It feels like has a little bit of an orangey-ness about it, whether that's coming from an orange blossom, whether it's coming from a citrus, whether it's coming from something completely different, I don't know. But I just get this orangey feel with it. But it does have this amazing powderiness. It has that mysterious Teone thing, that magic that she has. If you know Teone's work, you will smell this and know 100% that Teone made this. It is just that lovely, mysterious. I always feel like it's Teone's magic touch, I guess, kind of makes me think of incense most of the time. I'm not sure if there's some resins in here, if there is any kind of incense material, but it feels like there probably is, and that's where this magic is coming from. And what I got from it yesterday, and I hadn't really noticed, I think maybe I hadn't really paid attention for this whole duration of wearing it before, but I was wearing it last night and it lasted really, really well. Hours and hours. So I was wearing it on my night shift and I was thinking, oh, can I smell it? And then I moved it just a tiny bit and I was like, oh yeah, I can still smell it, but I kind of had forgotten about it. But then as soon as I thought about it, it was definitely there. So it's not a big projector, but it is not really quiet or a skin scent either. It's totally in the middle, quite strong when you first spray it, quite bold, but within half an hour or so, it's much more gentle, but not weak at all, not a skin scent. And you just get this lovely aura around you. And I can see why it's called Inner Glow, because it feels like a positive experience, but it's not like a big, happy, loud fragrance. It's more of a quiet happiness. So it kind of makes sense. It's like you're inside, you're happy, you're content, you're peaceful, and that gently radiates from you, but you're not like, oh my God, I'm so happy. You know, it's not like that, if that makes any sense. I would say that the animalic note, I think it's important to know that it doesn't smell like any animalic note I've really smelt before. So I would never say, oh, I smell civet or I smell castoreum. It has a slightly dirtiness to it. And yeah, like kind of like warm skin or bed sheets that have been slept in a few times. Not really disgustingly dirty. I was going to say no one's pooed the bed here, but I thought no, that's really inappropriate, but I've said it now anyway. But I think you get what I'm saying. It's slightly dirty in that musty kind of way, musty, dusty, human kind of way. But that really does calm down as you wear it. So the animalic note is not really strong all the way through, but I do feel like it's there, but just it calms right down and it becomes closer to a clean, musky scent in the long, far dry down. I also feel like in the far dry down, it gets a little sweeter. I'm not sure if there's vanilla, I can't remember, but it smelt to me like there's a vanilla, or if not a vanilla, then a sweet resin or a tonka or something that lends it a nice, delicious sweetness. I think if you like honey amber, then you're gonna love this. If you love Polynesia, you're gonna love this, but it's not like either of them. It's probably closer to honey amber. Honey amber is a lot sweeter So this is, the sweetness is really toned down, and I love that about it. It's more floral and musky, and then there's just this light sweetness, and the sweetness really sort of gently comes out as you wear it. So to me it did smell like there was a little bit of vanilla and musk and powder and the florals, and there's just this generally this orange feel about it. It is gorgeous. I highly recommend trying it if you get the chance. I have so many Teone perfumes now, and I tend not to reach for them as much as I reach for my other mixed media fragrances. And I think that's just because I have to be in a certain mood. I have to have a certain place to go where I really feel like I want to wear one of Teone's creations. And so I probably won't buy a full bottle at this point, but I think if I use up one or two of my Teone fragrances, this is way up there as one that I would purchase once I've made a little bit of space in my Teone collection, because I have a lot of Teone fragrances and they're all so beautiful. I love them so much. So that's Inner Glow. So that's really a review of that, I suppose. And now we're going to get on to, I'm going to save the Francesca Bianchi for last. So I've got the new Francesca Bianchi, and it's called Encounters, and that was sent to me by Francesca. So I'm going to save that for last. We're going to do a lesser known house now, who very kindly sent me a sample. So it's Karen Timsen Fine Fragrances. I will link all of these three brands in the description so you can have a look at their website. But Karen got in touch with me and asked if she could send me a sample of her latest perfume, and it's called Moon Palace. I'm just unraveling it now from the envelope. Moon Palace, all I know is it's a tuberose fragrance. I don't think we have notes, we just have the ingredients on the card. So it's nicely wrapped in tissue here. Karen Timsen is a British-based perfumer. She is the owner and perfumer behind the brand. And let's go on here. A few little sprays, if you can see. Don't know why I need to show you the wetness of my skin, but there you go. Okay, just gonna let that alcohol dissipate a little bit. That's nice. So what am I getting? Immediately I feel like there's some ISO-E Super in here, but it's mixing with a tuberose, or even could be gardenia. I mean, I know there's a tuberose note, but potentially, if I didn't know, I'd be saying, is it tuberose, is it gardenia? It has that fruity element that gardenia can have, although tuberose can as well. Oh, it's lovely. It's a powdery, slightly clean, woody, musky, with a tuberose that's not too in your face. So it's not like a fracas, Madonna Truth or Dare, Carnal Flower, where it's so much tuberose, like knocking you out. It's definitely there, but it's really well balanced with these other notes that are powdery, woody, musky, clean. Yeah, it's fun. I would say so far it's a fun fragrance. It's almost a bit like smelling a strike of lightning. It's something, I wouldn't say metallic, but there's something almost like petrichor. You know, the smell of rain when it hits the earth. A little bit like that. Something, what's that word? I use it so often and I've forgotten what it is. I'll come back to it. but I do almost get something smoky. Like I said, lightning strike. Something just, not like a blatant smoke, not like a pile of wood on fire, but just a hint of like a strike of a match or something like that. Mineralic was the word I was looking for. It's a bit mineralic. I don't know if it is ISOE anymore. I felt like it when it first sprayed it. Now I'm not sure. It's really interesting. So you've got that floral, which is almost fruity. Maybe it's not just almost fruity, maybe it actually is fruity. Is there a fruit in here maybe? Could be. I really need to get to know this better, but I like it. It's for a tuberose. I don't always get on with tuberose. I find it too much. I love how the tuberose is tamed in here. And it's so unusual because I do smell like a strike of lightning or a strike of a match. Something just slightly unusual that you don't always smell in perfume, but it's blended lovely. It's not a weird perfume. I think you could happily wear this if you're only used to wearing designer fragrances. I don't think you'd find this too weird, as long as you like a little bit of tuberose or gardenia. And I just feel like there's a touch of earthiness in here, whether there's a hint of patchouli or something else that's grounding it, something a little earthy. Maybe even musty, or what was the other word I was going to use? Almost maybe mushroomy a little bit as well. Really unusual, pretty, I like it. I don't think I smelled anything like that before. So I think in a world that's oversaturated with fragrances, that is quite an achievement. So yeah, well worth checking out. I think they only ship to the UK. Yeah, that's a really interesting fragrance. So now we're going to move on to the Francesca Bianchi one. And here we are. I haven't read the little thing there. I know that this is an oud. It's an oud and iris. And I don't think I know any other notes. And I'm not sure if they're even going to be on that card. I remember looking on Francesca's Instagram and I don't think she revealed too many notes anyway. Sorry, I'm just looking up. There's a window behind you and I thought I saw something in the air. Just a plane or something, but bloody aeroplanes. So we are going to spray this. Where do we put? So I think we'll put this, because Teone's perfume is so strong on this arm, I'm going to put this down here on the back of this hand. And this is brave of me because I don't always like oud. Oh, it smells nice in the air. I was expecting to be a bit off put by anything with oud in it. I'm always sort of a bit scared. Not scared, but you know what I mean. I can smell it in the air and it smells lovely. How do we, it does smell like a Francesca Bianchi. Initially it smelled almost buttery. Yeah, oh my God, I breathe in, I can smell different things like going off in my, it's like fireworks going off in your nose. It's like you smell one thing, like a part of it, I think, oh wow, that smells really nice. And there's another part that's like slightly weird, but they're like in my nostrils disconnected, if that makes any sense at all. But it's like I'm smelling two different perfumes side by side, one that I really love and the other one I'm not sure about. What the hell am I smelling here? It definitely smells Francesca. So it's got her magic, if you know Francesca's perfumes, she has a signature. and I can smell her signature here. But I do smell something a little bit jarring to me. It could be, I'm not sure, is it something like, is it, what's that thing I generally don't like, Nagamotha? I'm not sure. It's something that's a bit harsh to my nose, like a bit dry. But there's this gorgeous, smooth, sweet, fluffy thing as well. So it's a juxtaposition to me. The whole thing is like split in two. There's this part that I love and there's this part that I'm not liking. And I'm smelling them both at the same time. Almost clearly defined parts rather than everything melded together. I really hope this makes sense. I'm not sure that it does. Okay, I need to explain what I'm smelling. There's quite a dry woody part to it, and that's part of the bit I don't like so much. I just don't like anything too dry. Maybe that's the oud. It doesn't smell particularly animalic to my nose, and it doesn't smell like one of those sort of barnyardy ouds. It doesn't, but real oud to me often smells like walking out in the country when there's been a bit of muck spreading going on, and I'm not getting that here. Although maybe something coming through now, a little bit like that. But it's very dry though, that part of it, this woodiness, and there's probably the oudiness, and yeah, that's sort of dry and almost smoky. Yeah, I think it is smoky. It has that mysterious feel, and it also feels a little bit Middle Eastern. I mean, with oud generally that's the effect that you get, I suppose. It's losing that fluffy, lovely, sweet thing that I was really loving. It's becoming more of a whole now. I'm not now smelling two things at once. I am now smelling a blended perfume, but it's gone to the dark side. It's gone to the dry, sort of smoky-ish side, rather than that fluffy, light, sweeter side. I honestly don't know what I'm smelling. It doesn't smell as irisy as a lot of Francesca's other perfumes. I can smell something sweet coming through in there, just a little bit of sweetness. This could be the smell of what I imagine Bacour to smell like, you know, when people use the incense burner things to scent their clothes and stuff. I don't actually know what that smells like, but in my head, this would be it. It's getting smoother, so it's not quite so dry. What I'm smelling is what to me smells like a mixture of woods. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a little vetiver. Something sweet, but I can't tell you what. Yeah, that I can smell the iris mixing in with it all. And it's also got a bit of a musky feel. Doesn't smell particularly dirty. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a little bit of patchouli in here, but it's not done with a heavy hand. It reminds me of one of the Almond Jane fragrances, which I've forgotten, but in a much more subtle way. Okay, let's read this. So it's called Encounters, where East meets West. the fascinating point of contact between different cultures, a place where diversity produces a new language. Iconic materials from East and West, oud and iris blending into a new mysterious creature. Main accords oud and iris, spicy, woody, oriental, assertively hedonistic, opulent, luxurious, mysterious. Absolutely agree with all of that. Oh, we've got bergamot, orange, cassis, lavender, coriander. I didn't pick up on any of this. Rose, I did, in my head I wondered if there was a bit of rose. Iris butter, rose, angelica, cinnamon, ambergris, castoreum, oud, sandalwood, cedar, benzoin and Peru balsam. So Peru balsam and benzoin will be bringing a little bit of sweetness in. Yeah, it is spicy. Do you know what it reminds me of? It's Chanel's Egoiste. You're supposed to say Egoiste. Chanel's Egoiste. It's giving me a little bit of that. And I know actually there's a few notes in common. Now I kind of, I don't know. Yeah, it does. It smells a little bit like Chanel's Egoiste. And there's another one that's similar. But I think that's probably, you got the sandalwood, the cinnamon, all the woods. Yeah. Yeah, now I know the note. It's so funny. It was so hard to describe, except to say that it was woody and dry and mysterious. Now I know the notes. It totally makes sense. It is woody. It is spicy. For me, it's not for me. It's a bit too intense. It's a bit too woody. It's a bit too dry. It's just not quite my cup of tea. I can see a lot of chaps liking this. I do think that if you have a typical feminine taste where you like things to be sweet and floral, then this is probably not going to be for you. It's quite intensely woody, which most people sort of compute to masculine. So bear that in mind. I would recommend definitely trying it first, but I would always say that regardless. But I do think that sandalwood now is bringing me memories of Egoiste from Chanel. It's that spicy sandalwood. Yeah, that's what, that is not to say it's a dupe, and I haven't smelled Egoiste in a long time either, but I just think as a point of comparison, something to let you know roughly what we're talking about. If you like Egoiste, I think you're going to like this. It's a spicy, woody sandalwood that's pretty intense. So yeah, I think that's it. That's my thoughts on Encounters. I had to double check the name. Encounters by Francesca Bianchi. Let me know if you've tried it. Let me know if you've tried any of these fragrances. Let's go back quickly to, yeah, the Moon Palace one. I do think it's Isoe Super or one of those similar ingredients, a little bit, but I could be wrong still. I'm not 100% sure. Smells minerally, a little bit minerally, petrichor with that tuberose. It's not a big, loud, bombastic fragrance. It's nicely blended. That tuberose is not smacking you in the face. That's what I love when people handle tuberose. That's how I like it handled. If you like the big tits and arse tuberoses, this might not quite fulfill what you need, but I think it's lovely. I think it will be a compliment getter because it has that lovely element of a sweet, flirty floral with a little bit of that pleasing element of that mineral sort of petrichor, almost cedarwood like thing that I think is possibly Isoe Super, but I'm not sure. So that is it. I am done now. I'll stop rambling. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you in another video. Bye.